Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. For this video, we'll be going through a triple combo of a unboxing, time-lapse and review of the Darth Vader Mech set 75368. And Darth Vader being Darth Vader, it's all part of the LEGO Star Wars line. And this came out about the third quarter of 2023, subject to when you watch this video. For the most part, I can probably still say Q3 of this year. So some time ago, I went through and did the Stormtrooper mech. So I thought with a little bit of time, I'll go through Darth Vader and then wrap up this little recent Star Wars mech series with Boba Fett, which will be maybe another week or two, depending how time goes. Front of the box of Darth Vader's mech, so definitely not too bad looking. There'll be some very unified pieces between the mech series, but that's to be expected. But we do have a nice minifig of Darth Vader with a lightsaber, and then basically his mech version of him, also with a lightsaber. It's a shame he doesn't have a cape. Back of the box, just another shot of Vader, the mech in a stationary pose, a storage gimmick for Vader's lightsaber, which is a bit more sensible than the one from Yoda's Starfighter, and then the Stormtrooper mech, which you've seen, and Boba Fett, which will be later on. So, box done. I will quickly open up the box so we can see what's in there, which I suspect will be the manual and 2, maybe 3 bags. I'll go through the build, which will, for this video anyway, be a time lapse, and then go through the review. Okay, everything out of the box. Manual, 3 bags. There's a loose piece for the Mechs lightsaber, and just a small little cardboard box that will be holding Vader's cape. So pretty much a breakdown of what the 3 bags will do, which is pretty standard and self-explanatory, and pretty much the build of the mech. I won't go too much into it because mech builds become fairly similar over time, and the time lapse will pretty much have all of this. Very nice how Vader is the little progress bar in the bottom. I suspect this will probably take 15 to 20 minutes to do, maybe a little less, so about 76 steps. Not too bad. Breakdown of the other Star Wars kits. Mechs I have. Yoda Starfighter I do have, and I'm just waiting for this little spider tank to become available. Parts list. In terms of the inclusion, so there's a little box that will have Vader's cape in it. I'm not going to take it out until I do the build. The translucent red rod for the Mech's lightsaber. Bag number 1. Shouldn't take too long. Bag number 2. And bag number 3. So none of these bags actually have small mini bags inside them, which is pretty cool. So in terms of the build, I'm pretty much just empty out each of the bags into a container and just build through everything. Just put that back there. So that's pretty much the unboxing side of things done. I've seen what the outside of the box had printed on it. Had a quick look at what's included. So from here on in, bit of a time lapse, and then I will do a review of Darth Vader's mech. And with the time lapse now finished, so here we have the completed Darth Vader Mech. And I think that took me about, in real time, probably about 15 minutes. There was definitely a few things that I did remember from the Stormtrooper build, but there are definitely some parts that are very much unique to Vader. So even though there's a bit of a universal build for all these mechs these days, they have made it a point to try and make it a little bit unique for each one. So manual, won't be needing that anymore. There are a few little spare pieces, which isn't too bad, especially for a set of this size. Nothing overly too exciting, although I guess the extra lightsaber could probably be put onto the back of the mech. Okay, so the Darth Vader Mech. So the mech from the front, the side, the back. Now I have actually decided to point to the lightsaber down as opposed to up, because I don't know, looking at the front image of it when it's looking up, it looks like a weird antenna. From the other side, and then a close-up somewhat of the Vader minifig and some of the detailing on the mech torso. So the mech being a Vader mech, predominantly black as a primary color. We do have some secondary greys, two-tone greys, and a little bit of red as well to just add a splash of color. And to be honest, I actually do like the darker red being added in. Now granted, I'm very biased to dark red and black anyway, but it does help break up the visual look. And even right now, probably does help on the video because the mech is quite black. Okay, so we've had a look at the mech from a few different angles, some of the colors, some of the bricks we've used. I guess first things first, let's just do the minifig. And then we'll come back to the mech. So, lightsaber accessory, it's pretty stock standard for a lot of these Star Wars sets, so I won't go on too much about it. Very cool that we have one. And then as for Vader, well, Vader is your standard minifig. Nicely detailed though. Cape is obviously looking quite nice, and if we take off his helmet, we do have the very spooky looking Anakin face underneath. And I do like how they actually recreated that lower part of the helmet as well. So that is the minifig. Otherwise, minifig being the minifig, it's a standard minifig, so we'll have the standard articulation a normal minifig has. So Anakin, you can go over there. As for the mech, so in terms of articulation, so starting with the torso, we do know the front section will open and close as per most of these mechs. That's how you pretty much get the minifig in there and pop them out, which is always very cool. In terms of the arms and the legs, so, and even the feet, it's all ball socket driven. So ball sockets being ball sockets, the arm can do a good 360, it can go all the way out, obviously all the way up, all the way down. So as long as that ball socket is doing what it needs to do, it's not a problem. So the arms do have some decent range of motion. Granted, most of the motion, if not all the motion, is based in the shoulder. Because I've gone to this little universal U-bend piece, where there used to be some articulation in the elbow, we've now since lost to time. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. The fingers, so the three fingers are all independent of each other, so you can move them as you see fit. And I have mentioned this a few times, I am glad that they've scaled down the fingers to be a little bit more in proportion. So that's the arms. As for the legs will pretty much do the full 360 at the hip. You can go all the way out. In fact, Vader can actually pretty much do a full split. Well, the mech can do a full split, which is very cool. They can go, well, can only go that far to the front, can pretty much go all the way to the back, so some nice articulation there. The same U-bend is pretty much now in the foot, so the majority of the movement is only in the hip, and then we have at the foot ball socket as well, so there's that nice 360 motion, and can go up and down, side to side as well. So in terms of posing this mech, you do have options, and very creepy and scary options, but options you do have. And that's just me pulling off some weird, random, wacky pose. So it's definitely not without articulation, but it is somewhat limited, mainly in the knees and the elbow. Lightsaber doesn't move, but once again, it's nice that it is there. And yes, I'm sure you can also reverse engineer it, that this bit is also on this hand if you wish to have a left-handed mech as opposed to a right-handed mech. So that's pretty much the articulation of the mech. Yeah. Put Vader back into his spot. Yes, I did put the saber on the other way, in fact. What does it look like if both sabers are on? Not too bad. If I had another rod, you could almost say you had a weird jetpack going. Okay, Anakin, can put you back in here. Your cape is not going to last very well sometimes. Okay, so final thoughts on the Darth Vader Mech. I quite like the colors. The little bit of red really does go a long way, as well as the 2 shades of grey, so instead of being completely black from head to toe, some of those extra colors do help just give a little bit of extra life to the mech aesthetic. Definitely very much Vader themed, there's no doubt about it. I do actually like how, unlike the Stormtrooper mech, there's been a little bit of effort just to make the back a little bit more nicer and cleaner, which I think is very cool, as opposed to just having that flat piece there. It just looks aesthetically and visually more pleasing. Would it have been better to have this giant Lego cape? Yes. It's not unfeasible. Batman had one, but for a mech, no, probably makes a little less sense. The articulation for what it has is still quite nice. It's unfortunate about the knees and the elbows, but the ball sockets themselves are still very powerful points of articulation, so definitely wouldn't knock that one out. And unlike the Stormtrooper, I don't know, I feel Vader has a bit more range with his articulation, but it could be me. Time will tell. The actual build itself was pretty straightforward and easy. Probably helps that this is what, the 5th mech I've made in the span of a fortnight, maybe not 2 fortnights. So quite easy. It's about 15 to 20 minutes. 20 minutes if you're taking a little bit of your time, 10 to 15 if you're going a bit quick. So it's definitely one of those quick and easy sets. If you've only got yourself at most half an hour, you can definitely sit down and build it in a single sitting without any problems. So I think that's some of the good things about the set, so it's definitely got some playability there. With that being said, and I have mentioned it twice at least, it's a shame about the elbows and the knees. It would have been nice to have a bit more articulation with the mech, just to give it a bit more of that dynamic posing and more opportunities for that. Otherwise, it's definitely not too bad. For its price point, it's definitely quite solid. I'd say the value is there, and I definitely quite enjoyed it. And even for a Vader mech, I mean, it does have a few little differences enough to make him unique from the Stormtrooper mech set. And I think I will leave that there. However, within arm's reach, actually within 2 arm's reach, the Stormtrooper Mech and the Vader Mech. Now the Stormtrooper Mech does feel a lot more beefier than Vader, but I would actually say the visual aesthetics for both are quite nice. Since I do have a few of these Stormtrooper Mechs, I'm sure I'll get a few shots with these and Vader having his own little personal Stormtrooper entourage. But yeah, that's pretty much the two quickly side by side, and when Boba Fett is done, I'll probably do a final combined short as opposed to doing each one as they're built, just to save a bit of time. But that's the two together, and definitely a very interesting dichotomy between the black and the white. So I thought I'd just quickly do that, just in case anyone was wondering, what do the two look like together? Now with that being pretty much done, I think I will leave the unboxing time lapse and review for the Darth Vader Mech set 75368 pretty much there. I think everything's been mentioned from what I can think of, but definitely overall I'd say it's a very pleasant set. I have enjoyed it, and even though I'm not a Puritan Star Wars fan, I do enjoy Star Wars. I make plenty of Star Wars quips with plenty of people over time. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did it earlier tonight with the typical hello there. And I did have an opportunity to do the whole General Kenobi bit too. Anyway, yes, video there, Darth Vader Mech, pretty cool. I definitely encourage people to pick them up, and to be honest, looking at shelves, pretty sure people are already doing that. So I don't think there's anything much to say about that other than good luck actually trying to find them if the shelves are empty. Thank you very much for watching this little trio video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All of this does help support the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account, link in the description below. It's also the same handle as the YouTube channel, and as I mentioned not too long ago, there will be a short for Vader that will come out in tandem with this video. And then once Boba Fett is done, I'll have another short of Vader, the Stormtrooper, and Boba Fett. And I might even do an extra short with Vader and the Stormtrooper entourage. Time will tell. With that being said, stay safe, take care, and I will catch you all in a future video, whether it's a bit of Lego, a bit of Plamo, or something in between on the channel. See ya.